Hello, teachers. Welcome to our training for today. I am your trainer, Riches Dortela, and I am going to discuss with you about the trends and issues in early childhood assessment. So, this would be the lesson outcome. You will be able to explain some issues in assessing young children. So, before we proceed to our discussion, kindly answer the activate part. It can be found in your page module, page 23. And here's the direction. Using the matrix, write your observed issues in assessing young children. Isa ka inyong na-obserbahan mga issues sa pag-assess sa mga gagmay ng mga bata, based in your own experience. You may write your answer in the matrix below. Okay, now let's proceed to the acquire part. So this would be the first issues that we are going to discuss. The issues in standardized assessment of young children. When we say standardized assessment, this is a form of test that requires all the learners to answer the same question. So, kaning nga klase nga test, all the learners will answer the same question. And this kind of test is created by the expert. An example for this standardized assessment is the entrance exam. We have also the national achievement test, and also we have assessment for young children in order to assess the performance of the child in a certain program. So that's why we have to use a standardized assessment. So uniform ni sila, tanan mga bata mag-answer. So here is the first issue. The traditional psychometric concerns with standardization have in the past been applied to assessment of young children. So, karaan na gid ning standardized test. No? Traditional way. Dugay na gid ni siyang gina-apply. So, examiner report is much trickier with very young children because of their very limited experience, race, gender, culture, and even size can influence the child's ability to focus. So, because this is something new to them, since when we conduct a standardized assessment, the environment is very serious and the children are not used to it. So now there's a tendency that they cannot really focus in answering the assessment. Another issue is that individual or group tests were administered under controlled circumstances in highly structured environments. So since it's young children, they are not used with a very highly structured environment. Kanang mura sila ga-exam o let exam. It's very, very new to them. So, ingon ana siya, no? And then the motivation of very young children are likely to be much more variable than in the case of the older test takers who have developed self-regulation abilities. So, kini mga gagmay nga bata, they cannot kanang dili sila makapugo because they like to move. Unlike the older children, they can already regulate themselves. So pugon na nila. So sige pagyapon ni move for. Okay, at ng mga gagmay bata, since they are not motivated, since they are not used to have a very serious environment in conducting the standardized assessment. Another is dissatisfaction among many early childhood professionals and concerning the conventional model of norm reference assessment brought shift in emphasis towards conducting assessment in settings that are comfortable, familiar, and non-threatening to the child. So if we are going to have this kind of test, we have to make sure that the environment is non-threatening, a friendly environment, just like what you have in your classroom. So as I observe, you have a very nice decorations, arrangement, classroom structuring in your classroom, especially the classroom of Ma'am Shirley. Okay, so in conducting assessment, we have to consider developmental considerations. So young children have difficulty in attending the verbal instructions. So they cannot follow easily with our verbal at yung mga istorya lang instructions. We really have to model with them. Give silang help to understand not only using our words. They may also have difficulty understanding the demand characteristic of measurement situation, and they may not be able to control their behavior sufficiently to meet these demands. Since they are very young, we cannot expect them to really do like an older children when we conduct an assessment. So these are implications for assessment to emergent state of young children. So we have to consider them since they are still very young. Another one is we have to consider also the culture. So education can be viewed as the journey of natal culture to school culture of the larger society. So culture plays a role in determining which cues are most salient to the children. So whatever we do, whatever we perform for our children, we have to be sensitive with each other's culture. We will not discriminate, but instead we have to be sensitive and respect each other's culture. And then, in assessing children with disabilities, we will also consider them. One of the most difficult issues in early childhood assessment has to do with children who appear to need special assistance as a result of cognitive, emotional, visual, auditory, or motor impairment. Since they have special needs, we have also to consider them. We will not give them assessment the same with other children. Same with the usual children. We have also to consider these type of learners. Excuse me. In study of Bagnato and Noisworth, 1994, that 4% of their respondents supported the use of non-reference standardized intelligence tests for young children and developmental problems. So most of the respondents emphasized on the importance of flexibility in the choice of assessment methods, the potential of modification of the instruments, and the need for the multidimensional team-based assessment approach. So dili lang kay isa lang ang type sa assessment, paper and pencil test, but these researchers also give us the idea to have a modification of our instruments to modify the assessment methods in order to meet our goals, so that we can really measure what we want to measure. So these are some issues in assessing young children. So to know that children are not used to a very serious environment. They cannot regulate themselves, unlike the older children. And then some of the teachers have dissatisfaction in this standardized assessment, since some children are uncomfortable. That's why as teachers we have to provide them a non-threatening environment. Okay, we also have to consider in conducting assessment, we have to consider developmental considerations, their culture, and assessing children with disabilities. Okay, so that's all for the issues, the trends and issues in assessing young children. So please get your module and we are going to answer the assess part. And here's the direction. You are going to choose 4 issues in assessing young children. You are going to describe the issues, and then you may also provide possible solution to address that issue. For example, the first issue is that children are not comfortable with the environment. So you are going to describe kung dili man sila comfortable, describe the situation, describe the issue, and then you are going to write your proposed solution. And what will you do to solve the issue? Okay, just choose 4 issues. Then let's proceed to the major performance output for your module 1. So a module performance output is equivalent of midterm and a final exam if you are a college student. So mo ni siya ang ato ang summative assessment in which we are going to meet the course learning outcome. So to demonstrate understanding of the role of assessment data to improve young learners' development and learning. So ma-understand na nato unsa ang role sa assessment data sa mga bata. So here you are going to make an explainer video. Don't worry because I am going to post a sample of an explainer video. Then in the explainer video, you are expected to, by the way, an explainer video is a short video. It is used to explain something about a certain idea. It could be an animated explainer video, make it simple, make it nice. You use your creativity. So this video will explain the audience, telling them a story that they are willing to listen. Make sure that your video is just a short video clip, and it should be creative and interesting to the audience. So in your explainer video, these are the questions, the guide questions that should be answered. First, as child development worker or teacher, why do you need to conduct various forms of assessment to young learners? So in your video, do not cite anymore the question. You just have to write. You say your answer, your idea about these questions. Cite important key points to support your ideas. And then next question is, what are your roles in selecting and using tests and measurements to your learners? How will assessment data from various forms of assessment help you to improve young learners' development and learning? So kanilang siya nga question matubag in your video, explainer video. Not too long, please. Just 3 to 5 minute video will do. That would answer all the questions here above. So be creative in your output, and then I request you to submit or upload your explainer video in our Google Classroom. So I will post there in our classwork, and then there you're going to attach the file of your video, and don't forget to turn in. Okay, if you have more questions, you may also message in our Google Classroom, group chat, or Messenger. For you to be guided, this is the rubric of your explainer video, storyboard, subject content, introduction, mechanics, reduction. You may review that one in your module page 27. So I think that's all for our module 1, and there are 3 lessons in module and we are already done. Thank you so much and congratulations. Goodbye.